Hello and welcome to a rather wet 40th edition of the Antrim International Cross-Country. It certainly is a high-class field in both the men's and the women's. Conseslus Kipruto, who won 3,000 metres steeplechase gold in Rio just last year, he leads the men's challenge. And in the women's, it's Fionnuala McCormack, a winner of this twice in the past in 2012 and 13, fresh off a runner-up position in the Great Edinburgh Run just last weekend. She faces some stiff competition though. And Antrim Bobichel, the Romanian, she runs up against her, and also the lady who finished third here in 2015, Bertakan Adamu of Ethiopia. She also takes to the field as well. There is going to be plenty of competition across both those and the younger races as well, and to take you through it, it's Will Downing and Dick Cooper.
That's too far away.
Number 384 is Amy Pullman of Willowfield, taking third place in cross-country this season. Last guy, number 6, Rachel Gibson is 10, Jessica Clay 9. On the inside, my choice team.
You wouldn't have remembered him before my time. Before you played one day.
And your number 16. Lee Paul. Greenmount winner, our double European champion, number 15.
So a stellar field in this senior women's race. Away we go, European and world champions jousting in this. Obviously the double European cross-country champion with also a team gold to her name, so a treble European cross-country champion, Fionnuala McCormack, heading away out in front originally, but Antrim Bobichel of Romania, the former European under-23 3,000 metre steeplechase champion, is shot out in front. Watch out too for Caroline Kipruto, African junior champion, African cross-country champion at senior level, World Junior Championship bronze in 2011 in Lille, over to the 3,000 steeplechase, and she was fourth in the World Cross-Country Championship 4 years ago when it was held in Bydgoszcz in Poland. Bobichel, very, very talented athlete. Pink shorts, wearing 16 there is Kipruto. And also watch out for Marielle Hall, wearing 18 from the United States. Gotium Gebrselassie, wearing 19 of Ethiopia. Bertakan Adamu, who finished in third place 2 years ago in Antrim. And in the white singlets saw the top Northern Ireland athletes. Rachel Gibson was wearing 10 there. Gladys Gagnon, who competed in the European Championships in Amsterdam last summer, has been the Northern Ireland champion. Kerry O'Flaherty we've seen in lots of major championships for Ireland in the past 18 months. And a good contingent of Irish athletes you'll see there. Shona Hislop, Anne-Marie McGlynn, Laura Shaughnessy, Maria McCambridge all back there. But the one in green at the front, of course, it's Fionnuala McCormack. Alongside her, Gotium Gebrselassie, World Youth Champion 2011 in Lille of the 3,000 steeplechase. She's in second place, and overtaking her now is Caroline Kipruto.
And if you want to see the consummate cross-country runner, have a look at Fionnuala negotiate that hill. And of course, the Kenyans, where did they get it from? They never any bother to them to pop up those hills as well. Fionnuala loves this course. She's a great record in it, and she'll be competitive as ever today. She'll take on the Africans, and she'll have no fear of them. She'll have a good go. In fact, she's been very aggressive early on here. She's been running great. She was brilliant in Edinburgh last week. She was very good in the European Championships just before Christmas, and she's one of our all-time great cross-country runners. So she's on her way today, and she's ably supported by a fairly strong Irish team. The national champion Shona Hislop is with her. Maria McCambridge, a great from years over the years, is there, and Laura Shaughnessy from Galway, recent addition to DSD, is there as well.
Well, there's been a bit of a gap open up. McCormack leading them out. Kipruto of Kenya, Gebrselassie and Adamu, both of Ethiopia. Attendance is up this year certainly, and we've got some very, very big fields, particularly in that women's junior race, and there's a huge amount in this senior race as well. So Here's the turnaround, leading the way, Caroline Kipruto with the cap, that World Cross Country 4th place 4 years ago. Also finished 5th in the World Junior Championships in 2012 in Barcelona. Very, very talented athlete. Bobichel was going very well right from the start, but has blown up very early on. Loads of underage European titles, and a Universiade silver as well in her day. And obviously a lot of those who've succeeded in the track have normally done so in the steeplechase. Coming through in 5th place, that looks like Pippa Wolven of England. Claire Duck is also up there, and we had a little glimpse of Gladys Gagnon as well, pushing her way up, one of the home Northern Ireland athletes at Greenmount.
Great Britain won the team race in the European cross-country before Christmas there at the end of last year. Pippa Wolven was on that team. She finished in the teens, so she's right there in 6th place, I think, at the moment, with her compatriot Claire Duck. The Africans have great respect for Fionnuala Britton because they know she's one tough lady on the mucky, heavy courses, and she will be there competing as long as they're around, and she has no fear of them either. And isn't it wonderful to see take on the Africans in a competition like this, because they've got so dominant that it's frightening, to be honest with you. I see there's Shona Heaslip there now, number 23, going through. She's running well, and she has developed into a fine athlete over the years. She's an Irish dancer, and that is her main background, and the Irish dancing seems to complement cross-country running. Dancing up the hills, you could call it.
Well, Caroline Kipruto must do a little bit of that of her own. She's opened up a nice little gap. It's Gotiam Gebrselassie, the former World Youth Champion, just behind her. A little bit of work to get up the hill alongside Bertakana Damu. 10th last year here in Greenmount. 3rd and on the podium back in 2015. And it's England 5, 6, 7 at the moment. Pippa Wolven, Claire Duck and Louise Small. Then coming through is Haftanef Tesfaye. She's fallen back quite a bit, the Ethiopian. The 22-year-old regularly in the Diamond League and 4th in the World Junior Championships in 2012. And Kuta Bobichel is still in the top 10. Lauren Hall this is, of Aldershot Farnham in District 219, heading in towards the adjacent field, and well out in front is Kipruto. Well, we've seen Kenyans do very well, particularly in the European Championships. Lot about that lately. The president, Svein Arne Hansen of European Athletics, has said he wants to tackle that. Fionnuala McCormack's obviously been a victim of that, finishing in 4th in 2 recent European Championships, one in Amsterdam, one in Kia in Sardinia in the cross-country, where Kenyan-born athletes representing Turkey took the honours. But, well, that's a matter for another day, but it is being looked at. Tesfaye is well back at the moment, and Bobichel almost stumbling, had a little bit of bother. Morag McClarty of Scotland is holding on to a top 10 position as well, as is Laura Shaughnessy and Shona Heaslip.
Yeah, and they negotiated that corner and that bit of muck very well. It's very tight corner and very slippy. We've seen a lot of athletes go down during the day's proceedings. The Kenyan girl, Kipruto, is the dominant force in this field. She's a very big lead, surprisingly big lead at this stage. Fionnuala's back there with the Ethiopian Adamu and Gabriel Selassie, and it's looking a bit ominous in terms of the race, so big as this lead at this stage.
It's looking ominous for everyone else apart from Caroline Kipruto. Looking very, very comfortable indeed. We've had a great galaxy of winners in the past. Twice Fionnuala McCormack has taken this title. She's battling at the moment with Gotiam Gebrselassie of Ethiopia realistically for the silver medal position. You can see the leaders open up around 50 metres, maybe 60. The others only coming into shot now, with McCormack in 3rd place and Caroline Kipruto looking very, very comfortable as she comes through in towards another lap. There's, for the senior women, 3 laps of the course there. For the men, it's 4 and a bit, and the lead is excellent. The lead is very strong. Gebrselassie and McCormack are keeping their own pace up very well, and Bertakana Damu just behind them in 4th place, the former African junior champion in 2011 over the steeplechase. Of course it would be the steeplechase.
Yeah, it would. They love the steeplechase almost as much as they love the cross-country out there in Kenya. Fionnuala hanging in nicely there in 3rd place and battling well.
Well, now lots of athletes being lapped, as you can see, well out in front. Caroline Kipruto. And here come the chasers. Gebrselassie has opened up a bit of a gap now in 2nd place, with McCormack back down into 3rd place. The last non-African born athlete to win this race back in 2013 when she did the 1-2. We've had some great Kenyan winners of this in the past. We'd won last year in Alice Aprot. Mimi Belete as well, representing Bahrain, formerly of Ethiopia. Bertakan Fente taking this in 2015 as well. But look at this, going up the hill and gliding up the hill and taking the long way round because she knows it's a path less travelled, so it won't be as bumpy. Cheroben Kipruto. Still that slight advantage for Gebre Selassie over McCormack, with Adamu lurking, stalking in fourth place right behind.
Yeah, but Fionnuala is kind of the meat in the sandwich there between the two of them at the moment. She's losing contact with second place and she need to watch out there because fourth is closing in on her very well. There's Claire Duck surmounting that hill and her compatriot Louise Small.
And Ankuta Bobachel currently down in 8th place. It's a very high quality field as always. It's a very high quality top 8, very high quality top 10 because Tesfaye is just behind Amori McClarty. And here comes the Irish triumvirate making their way up. Maria McCambridge to the rear. So many major championships in a time. Also Shona Heaslip, Laura Shaughnessy. And there's experience from Maria McCambridge going the long way.
Yeah, Maria's been around the block a few times in terms of races and cross-country championships. She's cute, she knows what's best for her and where to go, but here's our leader.
She's going to be our winner as well. Couple of right-hand turns and she'll be in the closing straight. Caroline Cheroben Kipruto. She's been the African Junior Champion, she's been the African Cross-Country Champion, and that, by the way, is a recent addition to the international calendar. Antrim's been with us for a long, long time, since 1977, where Gerard Deegan was the men's winner. There was no women's race. Caroline Cheroben Kipruto is going to be the second Kenyan athlete to win this in a row, and it's a great winning margin. It's a great winner. Caroline Cheroben Kipruto takes the honours for 2017, and around 250 metres back in second place is Gotiam Gebre Selassie. She's all on her own in second place, and up in the third now is Bertakan Adamu ahead of Fionnuala McCormack. Looks like another major fourth place for Fionnuala McCormack, but since Kia in Sardinia, where she finished fourth, she's won in Brussels. She was second in Edinburgh last week. Gebre Selassie is going to be in second place for Ethiopia. Her compatriot Adamu will be in third, and McCormack will take fourth place. Silver Gebre Selassie, bronze Adamu, McCormack in fourth place.
Still a fine run by Fionnuala. She's always there, she's always battling. She'll be hard on herself, of course, and be disappointed, but she's had a fantastic cross-country season. She's built well on the miles that she did for the Olympic marathon last year, and it's shown over the winter.
Pippa Wolven in 5th place and Claire Duck in 6th. It's another high finish for Claire Duck, who was a top 10 finisher last year, and now the former European under-23 champion. Ankuta Bobachel comes home in 7th place. She had a little bit left in the tank at the end. Louise Small is in 8th place. Little bit of a surprise maybe that the third Ethiopian in the field, Haftamesh Tesfaye, should finish solo down, being a Diamond League athlete. She's down in 9th place, with Maureen McClarty of Scotland in 10th.
And here's the triumvirate of Irish girls. Maria McCambridge leads home, Shona Heaslip and Laura Shaughnessy. Very good runs actually by the three ladies.
And just behind that, Lauren Hall from Alderstock, and a terrific run there, the first one in for the road.
I want to thank my coach, because he gave me power to win this race. My training mates.
And this obviously very different conditions from what you would generally be used to domestically. It's the weather, it is very cold.
Yeah, here is very cold, raining, and then humidity is high. In second lap, and then we got second lap, and then third lap. I see nobody is following me. I decide to open.
Disappointed, I suppose, really. Like, I started off with intent, and then I struggled a bit, and I kind of got back into it, and just as I was like, okay, I can come through here, I lost my spike. So the last lap was just a case of just get around it, standing upright, like, because it is very mucky out there and everything's on a camber. So when you don't have that grip, it's tough. Like, and even at the end there, I was like trying to sprint as hard as I could, but I just couldn't go anywhere, like, with one leg, really felt like.
Let's put this out of your mind then. Let's look ahead to what you're doing this year.
I have to sit down and plan it now. Like my plan was to finish cross country now, and then probably go to the roads for a little bit, and then decide between aiming for the 10 or the marathon for London, because like I have the marathon time from the Olympics, but I still have to get a qualifying time for the 10, and then I suppose it depends what everyone else does and how they pick the team and stuff.
So does that mean heading to London for the marathon there?
For the London marathon for the London marathon, no. I definitely at the moment I don't plan to do another marathon before the Worlds anyway. So, because I have a qualifying time, and if anything, I'd probably go for the 10k time instead. So.
You seem a little bit happier than you were when you spoke to Will Downey after the European Championships in the cross country, though.
Yeah, like I suppose even since then I've had ups and downs, and I've ran a few cross country races to get out of my system, and yeah, like last week in Edinburgh I was happy with that, so it was nice to start the year strong.
So this is the IAAF Junior Women and Under 17 Women's Race. 2 races in one. So even those who are 10th, 11th, 12th past the line still will have podium positions to fight for. It's a very interesting entrance in this. Watch out for the yellow singlets of North of England. Sophie Burnett, Bella Williams, Katie Whitehook and Hannah Delaney all involved in that. In terms of the under 17 women, Abby Taylor of the Ireland Development Squad, Claire Rafter, Lauren Nicholson, Roseanne McCullough also, Jodie McCann of Dundrum South Dublin, and also a late entrant in the junior women's as well from Westbury Harriers in Bristol. That's Ellie Wallace, who is 7:08. 2 laps of the course there into the wooded section, and it's Ellie Wallace who's to the fore straight away with those North of England gold singlets all around her.
Yeah, exceptionally strong group of girls from the north of England there with the yellow vest. There is of course a great tradition of running in the north of England and cross-country running in particular. Ellie Wallace, Westbury Harriers, a fine athlete, the one to watch, and I see she's setting quite a strong early pace. Strong development squad from the south of Ireland as well. In Abby Taylor, I see Isabel Carron there from Skerries, and Jodie McCann from Dundrum South Dublin. Watch out for her.
Ellie Wallace in the white and blue of Westbury Harriers away straight away as they come up into the adjacent field in this course, wearing 37. Hannah Delaney currently in the top 6. Isabel Carron, by the way, you remember her winning lots of titles at the schools Irish Championships for Skerries. Well, she's in the top 6 as well, making her way down, wearing 8:09 is Isabel Dodd of Bridgend AC, trying to get a top 15 position in the under 17 women, and Alana Cooley with the familiar Clonliffe Harriers singlet making her way down as well. It's a bit of a dip that you have to work very hard as they make their way outside the main building here at Greenmount, and it's Ellie Wallace still leading the way, Sophie Burnett just behind, and in 3rd place at the moment for the north of England is Bella Williams with Katie Whitehook just behind.
Ellie and Sophie forging a bit of a gap here, opening up maybe 4 or 5 seconds on the rest of the field, and it beginning to look a bit ominous there. Very tough underfoot conditions, particularly at the gaps and on the hill out back, and quite sapping on these young ladies, but they're up for the fight, and Ellie and Sophie there having their own personal duel.
Yes, Ellie Wallace leading the way at the moment, not by very much, with Sophie Burnett just behind, Williams 3rd, Whitehook 4th. As you'd expect, it's the under 20, the IAAF junior athletes who are leading the way at the moment, but lots of jostling by the under 17s just right behind them. They're into the final lap. Good lead being opened up in the forest by Ellie Wallace as she makes her way clear. She's had some great results over the past 12 months. Her family's over here as well.
I'm excited, Will, about the run from Jodie McCann there of Dundrum South Dublin. She's only under 17 and she's running exceptionally well, very close to the leaders there, so that's a really good run for her. DSD, as they are known, Dundrum South Dublin, are heading for the Euro clubs in 3 weeks' time, so this is an important part of their race preparation. It's hard to get cross-country races, believe it or not, after Christmas, so this is an important one. There's Jodie.
And Sophie Burnett lying in 2nd place. She's a good way back behind Ellie Wallace at this stage. You can see Jodie McCann just behind her, but into the closing straight now. Here she comes, Ellie Wallace who got 7 major victories last year, starting in February with the Gwent League, finishing in July with the Avon League, but she's going to win the under-20 IAAF junior race in Antrim. Good victory for Ellie Wallace, 14 minutes and 1 second. Sophie Burnett is going to be second for the North of England, and taking the under-17 title for Dundrum South Dublin is Jodie McCann with Katie Whitehoke. She's going to take third for the North of England in the junior women's race. Bella Williams in 4th place overall, but Jodie McCann, that was a very good victory. Here's Williams crossing the line in 4th in the junior women and 5th overall, and right behind her crossing the line is Abby Taylor, who takes 2nd in the under-17 race. For the Ireland Development Squad, Lynn McKenna of Givick North will take 3rd, and her sister Charlotte will be 4th in that event.
Yeah, good value there in throwing the 2 races together, the under-17 and the under-20, when you see that an under-17 girl like Jodie McCann can finish 3rd. So she's benefiting obviously from the extra competition, and she has beaten a lot of her older peers, so she'll be very pleased with that. But obviously the class of the field, without a doubt, Ellie Wallace from Westbury Harriers.
And we've also seen Hannah Delaney finish 5th in the junior women, and Isabel Curran of Skerries in 6th. All good performing, crossing the line, 8.52, 5th in the under-17 women is Aisling Mohan of Metro St Bridges, but what a great win for Ellie Wallace.
In 2nd place, also from North England, Sophie Burnett. And our winner, representing Westbury Harriers, Ellie Wallace. Guys, what are you doing there? Right girl. Hold on. Jodie McCann.
Yeah, I'm really happy. It was a shock to win today. I just came here like overseas, bit of run, a new experience, and yeah, really happy.
How did you find the course?
I really liked it actually. I thought it was different. It had a bit of everything, like the woods and the flat. It had that hill which was actually steeper than it looked, especially the second time going around. So yeah, I thought it was a really nice course, yeah.
If you're looking towards the future, what are your goals then for this year?
Obviously you've got inter-counties, English schools. I'd like to do well at them this year, as I haven't done that well in the past couple of years, so they're definitely goals. And then obviously looking to track, probably try and get a PB in my 1500, 3000, and yeah, just keep going really.
How do you find the difference between the track and between running on cross country?
I like the mixture, because obviously the track complements the cross country, and the cross country like helps the track, so I like doing both. I'd say I probably, since I was little, I've always preferred cross country because it's a bit boring just going around the same loop again and again and again, but I do really like both of them now. So.
But it's a real sprint. Ayala leading, Ayeko in 2nd place, and Chariot's in 3rd. Who's going to take it at Antrim this year? Ayala thinks he's got it, and he has. Oweke Ayala gets the victory. The 22-year-old representing Bahrain wins in Antrim in 2016. So the senior men's race is underway. The last European to win this, Eamon Martin, in 1991. It's a very good field which features the Olympic steeplechase champion Conseslus Kipruto of Bahrain. He's wearing 13. Abraham Cheroben, worth watching out for as well. He was 10th in the 10,000 metres in Rio, but leading straight away is Lachlan Oates of Scotland. He's done very well in the junior races here in the past, and also 58, Hassan Chadi of France, former silver medalist in 2012 in the European Cross-Country Championships, the one that was held in the snow in Budapest. It's quite a strong field, Andy. Vernon, you'll have noticed up at the front as well. Strong Irish contingent, Sean McGrath coming through, wearing 28. Very, very big field overall, and as usual, for Greenmount and this Antrim International Cross-Country, a quality one as well.
Very large field, over 200, which is great to see. Great to see all the club vests from all around the country there. Strong up front, of course. Interesting to see Andy Vernon willing to take up the battle again. Andy is a regular visitor to Antrim. He ran very well in the European Cross-Country Championships. He was 5th in Sardinia and part of England's winning team. So he's ripe for the battle again, and he loves these type of courses. Big, rugged, strong man there. That's him, number 11 in the red vest. Watch how he powers up the hills, and he'll be in the shake-up. He's not afraid to take on the Africans.
What a start it is from Lachlan Oates, who finished in 4th place in the Great Edinburgh Cross Country. He's opened up a really good lead. Conseslus Kipruto, the reigning Olympic steeplechase champion from Rio, and he's won silver, by the way, in the last 2 World Championships in Beijing and Moscow. Behind Ezekiel Kemboy, quite a gap towards the rest of the back. And the Northern Ireland athletes making their way through also. A lot of the local club runners too, worth keeping an eye on. But it's a massive field. It's great to see. Wearing the purple singlet there was Chris McGuinness of Foyle Valley AC. They're very well represented here. But you can see this being the last race of the day, and there being about 4 hours of action, how much it's cutting up. And we're going back around 300, 400 metres in the course, just to prove how massive a field it is.
And isn't it great to see? This is what cross-country is all about, negotiating these bends, negotiating the hills, keeping yourself afloat on the muck. And it's great to see people so willing to take up the challenge of it. And right at the front of it, you see the cream of the field. The Africans have gathered, the Scott Leeds, and Andy Vernon's in there as well. And John Taylor, I think, is from England, is with him.
Soufiane El Bakaki, he's there in 6th place. Bit of a gap has opened up from the Moroccan. But you can see also up there Jonathan Taylor, who won the under-20 race here last year at Greenmount. The course is a little bit different for the men, you'll notice. First time they've tried this, they're going the other way around the football pitch. The science building is right there, which means they'll be passing our cameras quite closely. But the Scot has been overtaken, and Abraham Cheroben of Bahrain, Kenyan born, is out in front now. But staying up there is Oates. Also there is Kipruto, Andy Vernon, and Jonathan Taylor with a little bit of a gap back. Hassan Chadley is going to be moving up the course, and in 6th place also Soufiane El Bakaki, very good athlete. We see him quite regularly, and a man who has finished 4th in the Olympic Games in the steeplechase and was 4th in the World Junior Championships in 2014. So he's a real danger man if he likes the ground here in Greenmount. But the suggestion is he's going a lot slower than the rest. The man who just missed out on a medal in Rio might not be enjoying it. Coming up behind him now is Hassan Chadley, and the top 5 were absolutely scooting into the forest.
Yeah, Hassan Chadley's an interesting man. He was 2nd in the European Cross a few years ago. He's been part of quite a few French teams, development teams, under junior and under 23 teams, successful teams, might I add. So he's a very good cross-country runner. He's probably trying to find his feet here on this type of terrain. He wouldn't be as familiar with this muck and these hills as perhaps the European championship type courses. So he's feeling his way into it, but he is getting closer to the lead bunch, I note, and the Africans are there, and there's big rugged Andy Vernon in 3rd place.
Well, I have to say El Bakali's done very well as a leading group of 6, and the Moroccan has joined the rest. Andy Vernon, who's won 6 major championship medals, European cross-country gold in the team in Kia in the south of Sardinia just before Christmas, as they turn. Cheroben leading the way ahead of Kipruto. He's still up there as well, Lachlan Oates, who led for a good while, then El Bakali, and behind him comes Hassan Chadley, and that's the top 7. Bit of a gap towards the rest. Matthew Bowser of England is in 8th place, and Derek Hawkins of Great Britain coming up right behind. Really good crowds. Best crowds we've seen in maybe 4 or 5 years at Greenmount. Massive crowds we had here the first few years. It came back on television starting in 2012 when Fionnuala, Britain as she was, took the title. Look at the gap that's opened up. Andy Vernon in 3rd place, but leading the way Kipruto of Kenya, Cheroben of Bahrain, and Kipruto, as well as the Olympic title and those World Championship silver medals in the last 2 global games in Moscow and Beijing. He's also been World Youth Champion in Lille, World Junior Champion in Barcelona 2011 and 2012 respectively. Again, obviously over the 3,000 metre steeplechase. They've opened up a solid lead, but Andy Vernon won't be burnt just yet.
No, they're asking the questions now of Andy, Kipruto and Cheroben. It's almost like they've got together and they're doing a job on Andy Vernon. But don't forget that they're now different countries. They may look as if they're both from Kenya, and they probably are, but one is running for Kenya and the other is running for Bahrain here today. They have a 10-15 metre gap on Andy Vernon. He's finding it tough to keep close. He's concentrating and just hoping to see a little bit of weakness in them. If he does, it'll be in Cheroben, because Cheroben looks like the man who's hanging on more than Kipruto. Big gap starting to open up. Chaddy from France, whom we spoke about earlier, starting to work his way through the field.
So it's 3 way out clear, leading the way. Cheroben of Bahrain, Kipruto of Kenya in second place, Andy Vernon in third. 4 Great Britain now emerging in fourth place. Jonathan Taylor, the reigning junior champion from last year. Fifth is Hassan Chadli of France, a 5 times European cross-country champion, mainly in the team events and in underage. Then Lachlan Oates in fifth for Scotland, as they head out back towards the far end of the forest again, where the crowds are awaiting.
The crowds love the drama on the hill. They tend to gather to see the bit of action there, and they'll probably see a lot more action now as we get closer to the finish, because it's getting so cut up, so heavy, so mucky. That poor dog is the worse for wear.
Heading into the adjacent field again, Cheroben, Kipruto and Vernon. Last Englishman to win this was 26 years ago. 4 Englishmen in a row: Dave Lewis, Steve Tunstall, Craig Mockery and Eamon Martin. Before that, Tim Hutchings in 1985, Steve Ovett in 84. Last Irishman was David Taylor in 83. John Tracy's won this. Gerard Deegan won the first one in 77. But it's looking like Kenya against Bahrain here. Vernon's doing his best to keep up with these two, but it's Cheroben who's leading out Conseslus Kipruto at the moment.
Yeah, they're growing that gap on Andy Vernon now. Hope he's not settling for third place, because the gap is definitely growing, and the two boys are at this stage taking turns in the lead. Andy trying to hang on, and he should be conscious of Hassan Chadli behind him as well, because he is working hard to catch Jonathan Taylor.
Little glance over his shoulder by Conseslus Kipruto to see where Andy Vernon is, not very far away. Made of iron, this man. Silver and bronze in the Euros in 2014. Great performances those were in Zurich. Glory on the track as well as in the cross-country. Bit of a gap back towards the rest. Vernon is now around 50 metres behind our leading two of Cheroben and Kipruto. And behind him, Chadli, Taylor and Oates. Not sure where El Bakali's got. He might have pulled out, I think. We heard that Fionnuala McCormack lost a spike during her race. You can see how bogged down conditions are getting here now. But it's still the top two, Cheroben and Kipruto. Can Vernon reel them in?
It's going to be difficult. There's a gap there of 10-15 seconds, I would imagine, at this stage. Andy is really struggling to stay close to them, and the two Africans are running so strong and so smooth that it's going to be really difficult for him to close.
Taylor and Chadli in 4th and 5th respectively at the moment. Taylor's been a winner on this course before, but I'm not sure if he's going to win this one. It's Kipruto and Cheroben. There might be a great sprint towards these two right at the end. It might be stride for stride. We could be on the way to the best finish we've seen here for quite a few years. Remember, Mike Keegan won in a sprint finish around 5 years ago. They're trying to get their way past all of the athletes that they have now lapped. It's a great stride between these two. It's Cheroben, and now Kipruto's taking it up. Here's the final turn for home. Kipruto's wearing 13, Cheroben's wearing 12. Here's the sprint finish in Antrim, and Kipruto's going to take it. The Olympic champion wins in Antrim. Victory in Rio and victory in Greenmount. Kipruto takes the gold for Kenya, Cheroben the silver for Bahrain, and Andy Vernon will take 3rd spot for Great Britain here. It's another podium for Andy Vernon. He's put in a great performance. He's 20 seconds behind the winner, Kipruto, in the end.
Yeah, he lost some ground there in the second half of the race, but he ran very commendably. He should be very pleased with that, because they're two quality athletes that have beaten him. To be beaten by an Olympic champion, there's no shame in that. And as we said, here's the Frenchman. He's worked his way very well through this field, and he's gotten himself up to 4th place ahead of Jonathan Taylor. That's a really good run for I suppose a journeyman cross-country runner who's experienced so much over the years.
A silver medalist from 2012, and in the races in between 2011 2013 he finished 4th in the European Cross-Country Championships. Lachlan Oates will come home in 6th place for Scotland. He led for a lot of the opening lap. That's very creditable. His fellow Scot Jamie Crowe is in 7th place, with Matthew Bowser in 8th and Owain Jones 9th. Derek Hawkins will be 10th, and the first Irishman home in 11th.
Derek Hawkins actually ran the Olympic marathon for the UK. He's a brother of Callum Hawkins, who finished in 9th position. Here, in actual fact, is the first Irish finisher. It's Liam Brady from Tullamore Harriers.
So Liam Brady comes home in 11th place, and he's the first Irishman home and the first Northern Irishman coming through in 12th place, London Heathside, Adam Kirk-Smith.
Conseslus, just tell us how difficult were those conditions out there?
The third race was difficult. It was muddy and it was cold. I was afraid because of muddy, of course, a problem in my back. So I was thinking maybe my back would get problem because of muddy. But after all, I didn't feel pain as I feel in Compassion. It was better today. But the course, I liked the course. It was a very nice course. We had hilly, it was a long course. I enjoyed. So in the race, I enjoyed. We had an English guy, and Andres was a very tough guy. So we tried to push to drop him, but it was very tough. I had a guy from Kenya. We pushed. He pushed. I follow. I didn't want to push the best because I knew it had a problem. So I used to follow the guys, and I was waiting for my kick, and I waited for the kick, and I won it.
In World Championships year, you were a silver medalist in Beijing 2 years ago. You won the Olympic gold medal last year. So how important is this year to you?
Yeah, after summer last year in Rio Olympics, I won 3,000. It was my first time in senior to have a gold, and it was great. I was so happy. I was impressed by that medal. To be Olympic champion at 22 years old, I was so happy. It changed my life so much. Even when I arrived at home, it was like I was different guy as usual. Even like in the government or the Athletics Kenya officials, it was nice. So I look a great person now in Kenya. Even being here today, it's good for me. Being Olympic champion, to win today it's a good name for me. So I like winning Antrim Cross-Country today as an Olympic champion.
How much more confidence as a person hasn't given you winning that Olympic medal last year?
Yeah, surely. After winning Olympic last year, like when coming to track, I have a lot of morale so much. Being Olympic champion, you know, many people will fear me in the track when I'm around. I know the guys will have a lot of tension, will tense a lot. So it's giving me a lot. As usual, we used to fear Kemba when it's coming to championship or Olympics. So I think it will be me now who those guys tense on me.
And what comes next for you after this?
This year we have London, that's World Championship, and we have a lot of races to run. So, but the best thing for me, or what I'm aiming this year, is to be world champion. I've been looking for that holder, but I have been second like 2 times. In Moscow, in Beijing, I was second behind Ezekiel. I hope this time when it comes to London, I'll win. So I'll be so happy to win in London. And again, I don't know how will be my shape, whether I will present like last year or last season. I want to try a world record, but according at the time now, that's my aim. But I'm going to work for it when it comes to trying.
Away very quickly there, and we see Vernon Snow coming here, quickly going away round 2. First start from and a really strong finish. And going through there, Fionnuala McCormack. Oh, Laura McCain came there to take it from.
So the IAAF Junior Men's Race with an under-17 men's race attached also. Some very good talent in this. You saw 2:08 there. That's Craig McGeechan of North Down, who won silver in the under-17s last year. as you'd expect, very, very soft underfoot. We've had quite a few underage races already. So away we go, under 20 and under 17 men's race combined. Some great talent. All of the medalists from last year's under 17 race are now competing at the IAAF junior level. That includes last year's winner Saul Sweeney of Perth Strathray Harriers, the silver medalist Craig McGeechan of North Down, and the bronze medalist Fintan Stewart of City of Derry Spartans. Also Sean O'Leary, who was fourth in that last year from Clonliffe Harriers, and last year's fourth placer in the junior men, wearing 32. He's gone through his shot there. Jonathan Shields in the yellow, representing the north of England. This should be a very keenly contested race.
This will be a good race, all right. Two very strong runners from the north of England, Jonathan Shields and Hugo Milner. But there'll be strong support for James Edgar, the local boy from City of Lisburn. We'll be looking for a strong run from him. Two good, strong squads up from Dublin, the DSD and Clonliffe Harriers, who fought out the National Junior Championship in Abbottstown last November. And Clonliffe are preparing for the Eurocross clubs in 3 weeks' time as well. So that's why they are here.
So going up the hill, leading the way, Jonathan Shields, who finished fourth in this last year, who finished 10th in Edinburgh last week at the Great Edinburgh Cross-Country International. Lots of good victories, 2 wins in the Trafford AC Grand Prix races in Stretford over 800 metres. He's fine on the track as well. Very solid field here. It's a large field. All of the fields much greater in size this year than last, and you'll see plenty of Dundrum, South Dublin and Clonliffe Harrier singlets as well. Little bit of a fall. You can see it's really getting bogged down even before the senior races. Jonathan Shields leading the way, Hugo Milner just behind, James Edgar, Saul Sweeney, all very well bunched, wearing 31. Nathan Baker of the north of England, they're very well represented here as they go into the adjacent field alongside the main Greenmount course here. But what a good lead's been opened up by Jonathan Shields. Just behind him, wearing 209 from Scotland, Perth Strathray Harriers, the winner of the under-17 race last year, that's Saul Sweeney.
Saul Sweeney obviously likes this Antrim course, and so he's right bang in contention there. Jonathan Shields looks the class of the field. He's really putting it up to the opposition.
Hugo Milner wearing 33, 185 is James Edgar from the City of Lisburn, doing very well for Northern Ireland in this Athletics Northern Ireland event. Slight lead for Shields, then the next 4 coming up right behind. This may be the podium being decided in this IAAF Junior Men's Race. This over 5,600 metres, 3 laps of the course, 1,800 metres ago down the rest of the field. Seeing a lot of the under-17s here. Sam Hart from Team Kennett, Elliot Lawrence from Swansea Harriers, right at the back of the course. This is our new angle this year. Jonathan Shields of the north of England. Some very good wins last year. He's the South Yorkshire County Schools champion over 3,000 metres. Also won the BMC Grand Prix in Stretford last August while the Olympic Games were on in Rio. And look at the big gap now that's opened up between the top 3, 4 and the rest. 183 coming through there. Fintan Stewart of City of Derry Spartans, who won bronze in last year's under-17 race.
And that's Sean O'Leary there of Clonliffe. He'd be the first man there, and Ruan O'Grada of DSD. But Jonathan Shields is really pushing it on. I like the look of him. He's got that rangy cross-country suitability, and we'll watch him now as he attacks that hill. He pumps the elbows, pumps the arms, drives up this hill, and he's on his way to what looks like a victory even at this early stage. When you get a gap on a mucky course and you grow it, it's very, very difficult for the chasing group to make inroads into that.
Up the hill, coming round at the moment, this is Fintan Stewart of City of Derry Spartans, and right behind him wearing 891 Dominic Smith of Swansea Harriers, who's pushing for a podium position in the under-17 race. Killian Kilrahill, who's with the Ireland Development Squad from Sligo, he's high up as well, and Matthew Willis of Wrexham AAC as well, and that's a little bit of bother.
Young athlete from Spartans there.
Yeah, that's Liam George needing a bit of a breather and a little bit of encouragement to get going again, but Jonathan Shields needs none of that. He's way clear into the adjacent field in the final lap. It's a really strong lead, around 10 seconds over Hugo Milner in second, and James Edgar of City of Lisburn AC in third place. He might be on his way to the podium, then an even bigger gap back. Fintan Stewart of City of Derry Spartans. Also going through was Nathan Baker and Patrick McNiff of Banbridge. Behind them, wearing 190, Sean O'Leary, the familiar Clonliffe Harriers singlet. But here he comes, heading towards home shortly. Jonathan Shields looking very, very good indeed.
Yeah, he's in full flow there. He's very comfortable. He's not looking around. He's total control. And there's a great battle in second place between Milner and James Edgar, the local boy. I'm sure there'll be huge support for James, so I hope he can hang in there and be competitive.
So this is it, a lap to go. Hugo Milner and James Edgar are keeping their pace very well, defending the other podium positions at the moment, but trying to get the top one. Just behind them in fourth is Saul Sweeney. And then Matthew Willis, fifth overall, but he's leading the under-17 boys race. He's the school's international champion from last year, also runs for Cheshire Schools. Back of the course for the last time, Jonathan Shields going very, very well. Great guns indeed. He's been a podium finisher in the British Athletics League as well in the past 12 months. Milner and Edgar battling for silver realistically at the moment. Milner for the north of England, Edgar a home runner from the city of Lisburn. And fourth and fifth unchanged as well overall. Willis, though, looking to win a race of his own.
Yeah, he'll learn from Saul. Saul won the under-17 race last year. He's overaged this year, and he has on his shoulder the potential winner of this year's one, Matthew Willis. And if Matthew Willis can hang on to Saul Sweeney for as long as he can, he stands every chance of winning the under-17 version of this particular race.
Well, we see great crowds around the back of the course, and Jonathan Shields heading up this hill for the final time. Look at the big gap between him and Milner and Edgar behind him. It's all about staying upright, and Jonathan Shields is certainly doing that. Hugo Milner in second place, his North of England teammate, and James Edgar for the City of Lisburn in third, with Saul Sweeney behind in fourth place, and the man in fifth, leading the under-17 boys, that's Matthew Willis. For Wrexham, the Schools International Champion from 2016, also runs for Cheshire Schools. Fifth in the under-20, the junior men at the moment, is Patrick McNiff of Banbridge. He's in the blue. Nathan Baker in sixth for the North of England.
Very interesting the way they attack this hill. Some go tight and others go wide, and it's debatable which is the most effective. You go tight, you get up there on the shortest line, you get up there quicker if you hold your footing, but you're safer out there on the green on the right hand side. But the hill is the great decider in little battles like this.
Well, we've seen world and Olympic champions and obviously European champions mount that hill. We're seeing that again today, but Jonathan Shields, a great champion of the future. He's certainly going to be a great champion today. It's a large gap, something like 70 or 80 metres between him, Milner, Edgar and the rest. Very comfortable. Here's Milner in second place with Edgar just behind. The main battle now is going to be for the silver.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what James Edgar can muster up here. I don't think he's quite finished yet, and he will have the home support as he gets nearer home. Milner has made the move, probably conscious of the fact that he needs to get a bit of a gap before Edgar conjures up his finishing act. Jonathan Shields, a little bit tired and ragged compared to what he was a little while ago. I'm sure he'll be glad to see this finish line, but he will hold on because he has sufficient gap.
So here it comes.
The South Yorkshire cross-country champion from Sheffield and Durn. Here he comes, Jonathan Shields. One final turn for home. Splendid isolation it is for him. He will be the Antrim IAAF Under-20 Junior Men's Champion by a long way, Jonathan Shields. That's a very good win. Great battle for second place. It's Milner in the yellow, Edgar in the red, and Milner takes the silver ahead of Edgar by only a second. Shields' winning margin was 10 seconds, and the under-17 champion from last year, he's got a couple more years at it. He's fourth in his first attempt at the full junior under-20 category for Perth Strathley Harriers. That's Saul Sweeney in fourth, and coming home to date, the under-17 boys, head of Keelan Killerhill of Sligo and Dominic Smith of Swansea Harriers, it's Matthew Willis for Wrexham.
Yeah, and just shows you the value of mixing those two races together, the under-17, the under-20. Great competition for both. The under-17s, they love the prospect of taking on the older guys, and of course the older guys being proud. They hate being beaten by someone younger.
Killerhill in the Irish singlet from Dromore West and Sligo, GA player as well. Dominic Smith, third behind him. We've seen Patrick McNiff come through in fifth, and Nathan Baker sixth then in the under-20 junior men's race, and it's taken quite a bit out of Jonathan Shields, but he's our winner for 2017.
Clonliffe again. Roy O'Grady. The girls.
Jonathan, happy with that result, obviously?
Yeah, pretty happy to be fair, yeah. I wasn't expecting to win, to be honest, so it was pretty good to be fair, yeah.
You had a fair stride going throughout. You looked like you had the pace of the competitors behind you. Were you aware of how far behind you they were?
Well, to be honest, I kicked after the first lap and I just tried to get as much as a lead as possible, enough so they wouldn't get me on the last lap, and I wasn't really aware of how far they were behind me at all, to be honest.
As far as this season, looking ahead, what are you looking at as far as maybe track goes as well?
Well, I've got the Northern Championships in 2 weeks. I'm targeting the inter-counties as well. And then after that, I'll probably get into the track season, probably try and get a good 1500 3K time.
Now, something I know you're not going to be at, but the London World Championships are on this year, so you'll obviously be looking to head to something like that in the future?
Yeah, why not, yeah. I suppose that's why you keep training. You keep training to become better, and hopefully in the future that's where I want to be, but way off there at the moment.
Sure, down at me, guys. Thank you.
Well, what a day. Plenty of mud for the athletes to deal with, a little bit of rain as well, but the two quite brilliant performances from two fantastic Kenyans. Caroline Kipkurui in the women's taking the race by storm, and in the men's it was Conseslus Kipruto, the men's Olympic 3,000 metre steeplechase champion. He just got the win right before the line. A fantastic performance from all the athletes, and Kenya, well, they did it, didn't they, brilliantly. From me, Tulson Toller, and the team, till next time, bye-bye.